Next question this morning. 3 days and counting until those forced spending cuts kick in. President Obama warning politicians at all levels of dire consequences. And that has Louisiana's Governor Bobby Jindal and others crying foul.
I think it's time for the president to show leadership. The reality is he's been engaged in almost nonstop campaigning, trying to scare the American people, trying to scare now states and others.
Critics accuse the president of exaggerating the effects of the cuts, which are across the board and will hit everything from the military to early childhood education. So our question, who do you believe when it comes to forced spending cuts? Amy?
Well, look, Carol, you know what? You can't blame this all on the president. Yes, the idea did originate in the White House, but both houses, both chambers voted for it, the House and the Senate. So they're all to blame. And the whole reason we even have this is because they couldn't agree on spending cuts in August of 2011 over the debt ceiling. The bottom line is we cannot continue to spend money the way that we're spending it. We have to rein in the spending. And when you're talking about cutting essentially $44 billion from the budget, just this year alone, the rest, the remainder of it's going to be in future years. $44 billion is nothing when you're spending $3.6 trillion a year.
Got to get to Roland. Roland.
I'm sick of all of them. I'm sick of Republicans and Democrats. Again, if you voted for sequestration, if you signed it into law, you are culpable. And so when Bobby Jindal talks about leadership from the president, yeah, we do need more leadership. But also, why did Congress go on recess? How can you have this coming down the pipe and you decide to go on recess? The president should have used the constitutional authority and said, bring your butts back to Washington. And I also say the president should say, Boehner, McConnell, Reid, Pelosi, Cantor, Clyburn, you're going to come to me with Camp David, and we're going to figure this thing out over the next 3 or 4 days. But I'm sick of all these people, all this whining and complaining. Get to work.
I think you could both agree.
I agree.
Wow. Okay. CNN political analyst Roland Martin and Tea Party Express chairwoman Amy Kremer, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.